Hello, property nomads. Hope you're well. Plenty of news to go through, plenty of interesting things happening, and things that are going to shape business decisions and whatnot moving forward. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and we will motor on. There's just a few articles here that I think are fascinating to go through. Things that have happened in the last week or two. First off is this Kakhovka dam breach. Everyone, of course, blaming Russia because it's easy to do so. I said to someone a little while ago, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the USA or indeed the UK doing that rather than big bad Russia. But hey ho, you never know. We're not going to take time to go through that because it's typical BBC bias. But yeah, just keep an open mind. It might not have necessarily been Ukraine or Russia or it might not necessarily have been Ukraine or Russia actually doing that in the first place. Back home, closer to our shores, government have announced that windfall tax is to be suspended if energy prices drop. Now, the issue with the windfall tax in the first place is that it helps to create a level of distrust between energy companies and government in the first place. So as we know, the energy sector has gone a bit skew recently. We also know that because of government policy when it came to oil imports and banning Russian goods, etc., that helped to exacerbate the situation. That's not helped people like you or I that are facing sky-high bills as a result of government reaction and government policy. Notice the emphasis is on government action and government policy, not other world events that have happened that we can blame NATO for anyway. That's a different video. One of the big reasons for what's going on is NATO and the West keep pushing and pushing and pushing. It's almost like they want World War III. There, you heard me say it's almost like they want World War III. And our Prime Minister doesn't help with some of the comments that he makes about we will support Ukraine, blah, 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 blah. Very dangerous what's going on. Anyway, windfall tax to be suspended if energy prices drop. So yes, energy prices spiked because of government policy. We, to some extent, were saved a little bit by Mother Nature, having quite a mild winter. I think it was one of the mildest in 35, 40 years on our shores. So we got away with it a little bit there. And what's happening as a result of China's reopening, not quite going to plan, it's a lot of issues, geopolitical issues going on in China and what they're doing. However, their big reopening, which was meant to spike demand in oil, etc., that's not come to fruition. And as a result of that, the global demand seems to have decreased somewhat. We're slowing up. The ECB and the EU said last week that they're actually now in recession. Where the UK is apparently not in recession, but the numbers just don't look very healthy at all. We've got increase in interest rates because of too much currency being printed in the last few years, and it's all gone a bit mental. Now, the windfall tax, as we'll go through this article here, the windfall tax came in. Basically, it was the overall tax rate on energy firms went up to 75% because they were deemed to be profiteering unfairly from high increase in energy prices. And again, the reason they were doing that is because government policy and government intervention. So it's not the fault of the energy companies. But the government has now said that actually should the energy prices fall down or keep continuing to decrease, that the windfall tax would be reduced back down to 40%. Right, okay. Now, you might think, okay, that's fine, that's okay. But the issue this creates is that if you're in a very profitable business and you face the fact that you are going to be taxed more if you make more profit, is that fair? Probably not. Is that going to stop you from investing large amounts of income and resources into a country if you know you're going to get taxed to smithereens? I'd argue yes, to be perfectly honest with you. if you are planning multi-million, billion-pound investments and you cannot trust government, or you cannot trust all the red tape, all the bureaucracy, then that's a very dangerous position to be in. As we said with energy policy before, and we'll say it again, what happens an awful lot with this is that if we need to slowly move over to renewable sources, solar, wind, etc., then it is possible that we can do that. But wind, solar is never going to achieve the baseload energy that we need. The baseload energy over the years, I guess, has been coal. If we're going to get off of that and move forwards, then it really does need to be nuclear and also grid infrastructure as well. It's okay bringing all this extra electric online, but if the capacity or the grid doesn't have the capacity to even bring it online in the first place, then you're just wasting up all this energy. Now, the challenge with baseload energy is if we're going to move to nuclear, people need to get out of the way of that and let nuclear do what nuclear needs to do. And if they're going to get in the way of that, then you're not able to just go over to loads of solar and wind because it's not sustainable in any way, shape, or form at present. So you need to have this reliance on oil and gas. And you need to continue to increase the supply of that as well. Because if you want to facilitate going over to renewables, yes, absolutely, but don't go cold turkey. This isn't going to happen overnight. And I think this is a point that a lot of people miss. So if you need to continue to invest in the oil and gas space, in the oil and gas sector, because this is not going to go away anytime soon, what you need to do is you need to be in a jurisdiction where you can trust government or you can trust the industry. And I think the UK government have proven that you're not able to trust them at all. Oh yeah, energy prices have increased. Oh, hi, hello, by the way, windfall tax 75%, see you later. Oh, yeah, okay, energy prices might decrease. We'll just put the windfall tax down. Well, what if, again, energy policy gets in the way and energy unit prices go through the roof again? Then does a windfall tax go back up? Do they do a windfall tax of 90%? I don't know. I'm not the government. But what it does do is it will stop firms from investing large amounts of resources onto our shores because in just not able to trust government. It's just absolutely madness. That being said, the Treasury said that the windfall tax would remain until March 2028, but the tax rate would fall if the average oil and gas price falls to or below a set level for 2 consecutive 3-month periods. At the time of recording this video, the level would have been set at $71.40 per barrel of oil and 54 pence per therm for gas. Now we're seeing from this little funky graph here, thank you Bloomberg for that. We're seeing that 9th of June when this video has been done, this is where oil is, $75.90. And of course, if we look at gone by, we're starting to get back down to a more sensible level. And again, with China's reopening, not going too well, chances are that oil will continue to decrease, or oil price will continue to decrease moving forwards, purely because we've got some form of big ass recession coming, whether we like to admit it or not. That's probably why we've seen OPEC produce less barrels per day, because they can see what's coming down the road. Let's go on to our final article. Rachel Reeves waters down Labour £28 billion green projects pledge. Now, if you're like me, I do think we're going to have a Labour government from 2024 onwards. I think they're going to completely sweep the Tories as a result of it's more the Tories losing the plot completely rather than Labour doing anything spectacular. But they do promise to spend, or they have promised to spend 28 billion a year until 2030 on green projects funded by borrowing. Now, the Labour Party don't really have a very clear plan with regards to energy policy. But the funny thing is that they're already starting to say, well, hang on a minute, we need to water down this plan, probably because how on earth are you going to fund that? How do you fund that? Is the cost of borrowing getting higher or lower? It's going up. What sort of projects are we looking at? Are we looking at solar? Are we looking at wind? Then you get into the energy argument of, well, it takes more to create a solar panel. It's a lot of mining to be done. It's a lot of damage to the environment. A lot of stuff going on. What makes me laugh, and this is the same old rubbish, I'll put it politely, I'll be YouTube friendly, with the BBC. Says that the Tories have crashed the economy. I think that's a fair point. Added that prices and interest rates increase. After prices and interest rates increase, financial stability has to come first. Yeah, on the face of it, you'd argue that's relatively a sensible thing to say. But factors including the war in Ukraine have seen inflation soar, and the Bank of England has increased interest rates, making borrowing more expensive in an attempt to tame rising prices. This is a sort of narrative that I hate. This is a sort of narrative that makes me do these videos and that makes us put more content out, because we've got to fight this nonsense. Factors including the war in Ukraine have seen inflation soar. No, it's the government responses to that in the first place. NATO expanding continually and wanting to expand on Russia's borders has annoyed Russia. This has been going back for years and years and years. As a result of prodding the bear too much, Russia has invaded Ukraine. And the government response to that has seen inflation soar. So, oh yeah, we'll stop Russian oil, we'll stop Russian this, we'll stop Russian that. Oil's bad for the world. World Economic Forum, you're going to own nothing and be happy about it, etc., etc., etc. It's a government response to things that has helped exacerbate the situation. Government, I would have ordered, I would imagine, the Bank of England to print. Now, if you've got a lot of increase in currency, supply chasing same or fewer goods and services, what's going to happen to prices? Prices go up. A 3-year-old can tell you that. But it's the way that BBC keep reporting stuff. But I love using BBC as a source of info because I know most of the time it's wrong. So it's hilarious. I'll take that personal battle on myself. But yeah, this is a sort of reporting that drives me up the wall. It's government responses has created inflation. And then in order to use their modern monetary theory, MMT, they've decided, we need to, let's increase interest rates. And hopefully that will help sort things out moving forward and we'll get inflation under control. No, it probably won't. And the Bank of England will probably break the economy as a result anyway. So, hey, that is what it is. This is going to continue to happen moving forwards. We've got to share some light on this. We really do. That's the whole point of these videos. And as we say all the time, please like us on YouTube, follow us on YouTube, press that bell button and notifications thing below as well, because that will help to tell you when new videos are on. And spread our podcast properly, Nomads. Spread our content, spread everything you can to as many people as you can, because we need to fight back against this mainstream narrative, because it's affecting all of us in different ways, and we really don't get great reporting. So we have to dig ourselves and give our spin on things and provide the truth as best as we can. Mainstream media is dangerous, as you can see from the articles we've just been through. It's what we like to call no bueno. So do help us push our message out to as many people as possible. Subscribe to the channel, press that notification bell, and see you in the next video.